Hello, fellow Dumdums. Oni here with another Play Along for Dumdums episode. This is number 15. If you're watching this in order, you'll notice that, well, things are different from the previous Play Along. And that's because I recorded a Play Along yesterday, and I didn't record my voice at all. I was sort of fudging around with the audio, trying to make it a little bit cleaner for everyone, because I just wasn't liking how it was turning out. And, well, I totally goofed. So I built all of this, and I don't want to go back because I'm really happy with what I made. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to build a third one for you guys, and then I'm also going to adjust a few things in here that can optimize it a little bit better. If you want, I would go check out the beginner builds. I sort of walk you through all the layers here. So if you want to see me explain how this is all functioning, why I moved from a 5x to a 4x for these, all the explanation is in there. If you walk through of how this egg thingy works, you know, all that stuff. Okay, so on the docket today, I'm gonna make a third hatch ranch, and then we're going to adjust our stuff in here, and we are going to sort of establish like a sage hatch area. So it's gonna be a slightly different build, but the same exact layout, just with like different food in it. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is, I was looking this up, so I had a misunderstanding of how these feeders worked. So we actually only need one. So we're gonna delete that, and we're gonna get in here. And how these feeders work essentially is, as the critters get hungry, they'll go and they'll sort of hit this button and dispense the food themselves. So you don't really need to have two if you have a storage bin that can feed them. So all I'm doing is I'm moving this to here. So this auto sweeper, if you have 8 critters in here, 8 of these hatches, they're gonna blow through this food in less than a cycle. So it just needs to be actively managed. But how we actively manage it is using this storage bin. So that's the function of this storage bin here. So we're just gonna copy our settings, paste it here, and we're getting rid of this. Just like we're getting rid of this one. See? So we wanna make sure that's set to a very high priority. And then we want to copy the settings over. And then we can just get rid of both of these. So now, if I've done my math right, Dupe should prioritize filling this. And as they fill this, the auto sweeper will also move it from here to here. So this is the Dupe's job, to make sure this is constantly supplied. Always full. We're gonna set it to 7 because I think it's a priority, but it's not such an absurd priority to make sure that it's that high. In the same vein, I think our closet should be 6. I think we have more pressing duties to fill, is my point. Okay. Now, I have this down here too. We have our cute little Pokeshell spawn. Let's see, this is just the sand, so in here we want to make sure that we're putting in our rot pile and our polluted dirt. And that we're setting to 9. That we want to make sure is always going. Okay, and then our coal is looking good. I don't think we need to have rust in here. And this is our sand, which I think we don't really need here anymore, but we'll leave it there for now. All right, let's check out our blueprints. Fried mushrooms. I think I'm gonna get those. plants are valuable, especially because I don't really want these in here, just aesthetically. This is such a waste of time to do this right now, but here I am because I am. This is gonna be different later. Okay. So things are looking good. We have plenty of hatches. Okay, so we got rid of this. Our egg chambers are working out great. So let's go ahead and build another one. So pneumatic door, air flow tile, and again we're just copying this stuff. See, copy. I like to build things that I can then copy over easily. So now I'm wondering. Now I'm like, all right, let's maybe wiggle a couple of these things around because I don't necessarily. Can I have the statue here? Just trying to think about the smartest. Like, do I want to waste this, or do I want to try and put it here and then scooch all this down and then have this entry over here? And I think that we're just going to try it for this one. And if it's, I think it'll be way less stuff. Okay, so we're still putting this, here. Still putting this right here. Still just using some dumb sandstone for it. Okay. So this, we are going to do the sculpting block. So we're not going to put it here, but we are going to put it here, and then we're going to do a chabang. Get rid of this ladder. Put another pneumatic door. Airflow. Okay, so we're trying to use less automation wire by scooching all this sort of down a little bit while still keeping everything there. See, so now instead of this being all the way over here, it's here. It's a little bit more manageable. And I believe I will need some more Rockies. All right, let's find some Rockies. Okay, so I did get all of that. That's some lead here. There's some more copper. Maybe is it time to get gold? Is it time? I mean, I don't want to go get that. Okay, maybe I just go get this iron. Oh, Alt S zooms it out like this. So if you want it to look big picture and everything, but it gets rid of your. It's like a photo mode. Like, hey, you know. Alt 7 or Alt S. I'm just not sure what I want to grab, if I'm being perfectly honest. So maybe I will just use the iron. And that's just the way it is. Do. Okay. Power. Still have a little bit of copper left for this. I think we are running low. Get low on the copper. All right. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so here we're still putting that there, and we're still putting this there, and then we're gonna put. Let's see. Did I want to put that there? So maybe this just literally goes up, and then this is the one that ships it out. I think that's what we're doing. One less spot. All right. Yeah, chimes that just rejig everything is wild. All right, so this is. Okay, that's the loading area. Okay, so I need. I'm just gonna do that there, and then the conveyor. This will go there, so that way, short. See, keeping it short. Okay, and then we still want this bridge here to still exit down. A big question I have, which I might have to... I think I need to rejig these bridges. So we're going to do that. Let's see here. I think the big problem is that we need the bridges like to be like up here. So it forces, so it goes through and then output. So it, right? That's about the same thing as what I had. Need to go. I'm doing something wrong. So basically just bridge priority I think might be an issue here, though I'm not 100% sure if it will be. Use the granite. We're going to take a look at that in a minute. Alright, we're taking this all the way down to the same spot. I believe we should be... This is just going to be the last one, so I'm actually going to insulated tile this whole thing. Let's kill that. We'll just do the igneous. Oops. Okay. So as you can see, it's a pretty simple build. And we did some rejigging of some of it. We're just going to use the sandstone for this. I should be using... These are a little bit harder to update, so I'm just going to use the granite, actually. Alright, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to use the granite for here. And maybe this is a stone or smooth hatch. Now, here's the thing. For the sage hatches... Just had a sip of my coffee. Okay, they excrete coal, but they eat slime and algae and fertilizer and polluted dirt and nutrient bar and mush bar. So they eat kind of a lot of different things, but one of the things that they do eat is the slime. So you can feed them slime to turn it into coal. I really like the smooth hatches though. So the stone hatches to me are garbage because they, you know, because they basically just eat copper and poop out coal. So they turn lots of, you know, really good stuff that you want to hold on to into coal. But the smooth hatches, these guys are the best because they turn copper into, like copper ore into copper. And they turn cobalt into, you know, they turn into the fancy stuff. So having a couple of these guys is great for just an easy conversion. You can also do it with the metal refinery, which is going to refine your metals very quickly. Metal refinery takes a lot of power, but 1-to-1. See? 1-to-1. It is also required for steel. So, I'm just going to do another regular hatch. Maybe we'll convert it into a sage hatch later. But for now, you know what? Maybe it'll be a mix. It'll be sage hatch plus regular hatch. And we'll just kind of see how it goes. How about that? Okay. Now, let's look at what exactly we're doing. How do we get the sage hatches? You got to feed them a very specific food for them to turn into these guys, and that food I think is dirt. I think you want to feed them dirt. So type dirt in here. Dirt. Set it to 1. Dirt. Set it to 7. Open that up so you can get to the ceilings. And we're gonna make this green because it's for the sage hatches. Like, you know, eventually will be for them. Alright, and then one thing I'm gonna do here is instead of this, we're just gonna fine tune this a little bit here. We're actually gonna put pneumatic doors here so that way if we need to reach the egg chamber, we can. Okay, so right here we're gonna want hatch eggs. So we're gonna want sage hatches or regular hatches in this one. Over here, let's see, we do need some more refined metals, so let's go take a look. Let's do some more of that, and we're just gonna use some of the iron. What are you gonna do? Okay, up. All right, we're gonna speed around up. Triple time. All right, so we need some more rails. So we still want this to be our dump spot. So we're gonna use that, and then okay, so we'll put it there. All right, so what do we have going on here? We have the eggs just in constant rotation, because look, I opened this up. No bueno. Alright, we're gonna have to rally the troops here. That's pretty funny. So now they're all hanging by the food. They always migrating towards the food. So we're gonna rally them up, and let's see, I think we're gonna have to put them, we're gonna have to deconstruct, and deconstruct. So that's funny. If I had a nickel every time I did something like that. Okay. We're gonna emergency. Get rid of that. Emergency. Get rid of that. Emergency. Get rid of that. We're gonna pop in a critter drop off. All right. Expedite. And then we gotta expedite these. Good stuff. Okay. This is a hatch. Holy cow, typing is hard. Okay, hatch. Alright, so we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna set this to 4. Set it to 9. Copy paste, copy paste. So the reason we're doing that is because we actually kind of want it dispersed between all 4 of these. So that way we can maximize the amount of hatches that we have in each. And it looks like I just deleted this by accident, so we're gonna build that back up. Okay. Copy, paste. Alright. Let's get this out of here. Alright, things are looking good. So, let's take a look at our full build here. So we need an airflow tile here, which won't let me build there because we have a background building. So, just the drywall was getting in the way there. drywall. We're cruising. So I think this is a little bit cleaner. Uses slightly less of the refined resources. So I think I will do that across these. So we're gonna get rid of this. Get rid of that, get rid of this, get rid of that, get rid of this, get rid of that. We're just migrating everything on over. So we can put that in this spot. So we're getting rid of this. Getting rid of this. Okay. And then later we can add another one if we wanted, but this is fine as is. Then we got to figure out exactly what's going on with these. I've also considered, oh, maybe each one like goes up and through before it loops back around into here, which is maybe what I'll do. But I think I'm gonna do it in reverse, so it'll go down. So like the ones up here will come check and make sure, but it should go up because if these are going to be our sages, we're going to want to collect all the sage eggs into here. Okay, let's do that and that. I'm going to slow it down to 1 so we can think about the other stuff. Kaboom, 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 kaboom. We are temporarily disabled here. And we need our upside down conveyor loader. Okay, just a little bit cleaner. Less materials. Less materials is always better. If you can figure out a way to do it with less materials, then do it. Save you lots of time, lots of energy. All right, some more wiring. So, we are adding some extra wiring here, but we're losing that, so that is okay. So, keep it uniform, just like that. All right, that's feeling pretty good. Paste that sucker in there. Alright, so maybe we will just do hatch eggs in here. So in here we want all eggs except for sages. We're just going to start doing the sages in that one. See, we have a stone hatch egg right here. It's pretty cool. But don't love these. They eat a lot more. To get smooth, it's a waste. It's maybe good. It's better than the rock crusher, but if you have a system for your refined metal, then it's not really worth going through all those motions. Okay. So we like our settings for this. So, for this, so we're gonna copy, paste, copy, and paste. Get rid of this, get rid of this. All right, and we have our lines here. And now look at easy. And then we can get rid of all of that. See, a little bit smoother of an operation. The dupes have to get one more tile over, but we're saving some stuff there. All right, this needs power. They're still working on this stuff, so they'll get there eventually. Speed her on up. I think it looks like we need to get that rolling. All right, and then this is just going to be hatch eggs. And then this is going to be all eggs except for hatch eggs. Same with that. And then this will be that as well. All right, looks like this needs a conveyor. Let's take a look at our conveyor settings. All right, so we want this to go up there. Okay, so we want to make sure when we do our bridge that these don't interfere with each other. So I'm thinking maybe we just have it like this. So it will essentially, yeah, I think that's going to be the best. So let's get rid of this one. So basically what this is doing is it's saying, hey, check in here, and then if not, go into here, and then go to this dump, and then all down this dump. So the reason it didn't work before like this, because this will dump, and then it might try to go into here after this. So this is just using our one green to many whites rule. So you'll see exactly how it works in a second. Here's our copper. Okay, so we're gonna try to use our copper for all this. Okay, so we don't want this here, but we do want that to go here. We want this to go, this just is going all the way down. And then we're nixing these here and there. So essentially, this is popping up into here, and then if it doesn't work, then it goes here. Okay, yep, that works great. And then these, we have a nice strong line going down the middle here. Just add that. So the other thing you want to be careful of is if your eggs are hanging out on in the shipping area too long, they're gonna lose their viability. So hatch eggs have a incubation setting, so this is when they hatch, but they also have a viability. So poor conditions could be anything, but being on a shipping rail or waiting in a conveyor loader counts as poor viability. So you just want to be a little bit extra careful with that. Okay, we're gonna mimic this style here, and put that there. Let's check out our decor. So you see our decor up here is not as good, and just like down here it's not as good because we got this insulated tile spreading some negative decor. We will solve for that later, but I'm liking how this is turning out. I think it feels really good. We have a sage egg here, but we're not too worried about that at the moment. We'll probably make a drowning chamber. Okay, so this feels a lot better to me. We have the same basic setup. Don't need this ladder here. Let's see, this can get deleted, but it's not because it's not a priority. And we have one more spot for another filter. Say we wanted to bring our coal to a different area, we could easily do that. Or we could build an actual filter and do it that way. Okay, things are feeling really good. The other thing we could do is maybe connect these egg rooms, but I'm not really too worried about doing that. At the moment, we're gonna have plenty of eggs. Now, the other thing you can do is have a spot where you can have an egg dump, because so this system is good at maintaining, like, you'll always have eggs, you'll always have guys coming in and making sure that you are getting what you need out of this stuff, like, you know, food wise, coal wise, all that stuff. But it technically, there's the only downside to this setup is that once you are at 8, all these eggs are going to dump. And if you lose, say you have 4 hatches that are similar in age, like this one is elderly, right? So this one is 94, so it's going to die in 6 cycles. This one is going to die in 38 cycles. So if they're all like around the same age, they're all going to die off at the same exact time. And then you're going to be sitting here waiting for 20 cycles for these eggs to get going. So there's sort of 2 ways to mitigate that. One is you just have extra of these. The other is you have an emergency backup for your hatches, like an area dedicated to maintaining extra hatches that can then be dropped off to over here. Or you have an emergency egg incubator that you use for situations like that. So anyways, this is what we're going to roll with for now. And I think it is rather excellent. Okay, so we went down to 1 feeder. And I suppose now what we should do is create a drowning chamber for these guys. So when you're looking at a drowning chamber, you really want to just keep it as simple as possible. And I'm going to make one where that is entirely enclosed, but still accessible. So I have left some space here. We're going to get rid of this. Get rid of this. So your drowning chamber should be reachable by this guy, and it can reach through diagonal space tiles. So let's say our drowning chamber is right here, up top. I think it can actually reach that. So let's give it a test here. Let's put a tile there and a tile there, and let's see what happens. Okay, so it can't reach that. Let's try something different. I can't quite remember exactly how it goes. Maybe it can reach this tile. So you want to be able to reach the diagonal. That's not it either. All right, let's try one more down. Okay, so here it can reach that. So what I think we're gonna do, we have inefficient oxygen generation. Do we have enough algae? Insufficient algae. We do need to figure out that. That is becoming an issue, our algae situation. I don't wanna deal with that. Okay. Let's go find some algae and then we'll carry on with our build here. Okay, organic. So here's a bunch of algae for us. Let's see, this is a 4x already, so let's create another 4x. And, ooh, okay, so we're gonna keep this uranium closed off. Okay. And that's some more algae here, so let's increase this 4x. I think this bottom part of our base is gonna be our sort of hot room. So we're gonna migrate some things over into this area and run it a little bit different. And it might be a disjointed hot room, like just hotter areas that are locked in. Okay. I forgot about these plants. We want these babies in here. That to me, that's what you want in a massage room. That's just my opinion. All right, so things are looking good. Drowning chamber. So, I like to have my drowning chamber accessible by the auto sweep. So we're gonna put it right here. Right here. And let's see, we actually want it to be... We want it to be... I'm just thinking hard about this aloud. Let's make it like... Yeah, because then we'll have our 3 there, and then how far does this go? So this will reach that. I think something like this. In a perfect world, it would sort of be near this, maybe even part of this. I don't... Maybe there with... So my hesitation has to do with this microbe crusher and its location within this zone. we're not really going to be using this longer term, so we're going to put in this other 3x3 cooking station here. So I think this is good. Okay. We got to plumb this sucker. So this needs to be filled up. Okay, and then I realize we're gonna have a problem later, but we're just gonna still do it. This is not the best the best spot. Okay, we're just gonna do it anyway. So the reason is because I have this manual airlock here. So small problems for the future, but maybe we just leave this here and we'll leave it piped so we can always get to it. Okay, so you really just need a tiny little spot and a little bit of water to drown your guys. All right, so we're just gonna fill this sucker up. So let's see, 10 kgs of water. So there's my timer. Sorry about that. Okay, I believe that will be enough. So let's disable. Just need a little bit of water. And of course you can always add more if it doesn't work. Because I didn't run any tests. I have done this quite a few times, but I didn't run any tests on how to, what do you actually do for this? All right, so let's get rid of our buildings. We're just gonna get rid of everything on that square. All right, so now eggs that are full are gonna go in here. Let's get back our checkered action here. Okay, so the other thing is you also want so these eggs, you want to make sure that that your egg rooms are not accessible by your dupes, but you might just have eggs around willy-nilly that you're like, well, we want to convert that into some good stuff. So you make an additional conveyor loader that is somewhere easy for your dupes to get to. I might just put it right here in the kitchen, just as a demonstration for what we're doing, and connect it here. So again, many greens. See, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 greens going, 7 greens going to 1 white. That's exactly what you want. And we have 1 green going to 2 whites, 1 green going to 2 whites, 1 green going to 2 whites. Exactly what you want. Okay. Now we have our drowning chamber and our kitchen. Now we're going to plop in that and get rid of that. Okay. So things are looking good. Now we need these settings. So this setting should just be, let's see, let's make sure these are all locked. Because the thing is once you turn this on, they're gonna want to pull these eggs out of here. So you want these to be locked up so you don't have to deal with that. Okay, so we do critter eggs belong in here, and then what we do is we say, let's see, there's a button that says allow manual. Okay, sweep only in this container. Allow manual use right here. So what this is saying is, hey, all food, all eggs should go in here. So let's take a look at our errands. Let's set it to 9. So they should be going and grabbing these eggs, not these eggs, dropping them into here, which will then end up right here. And now we're in a loop. Let's lock that up. Okay, this is not working because they can access these eggs. So we're gonna kill it. So I think what we need is a spot up top, an actual space. So let's build that. Okay, let's got our space up top. Now, I believe they might still be able to reach this, but let's do a test. Allow manual use. Okay, so now they can't see this, but you can see our auto sweeper can see on this diagonal. So as these things hatch, they will die, turn into meat, and then we're going to take that meat and create barbecue. See? So now we have our barbecue going nice and strong. We also have these guys. So another way to sort of automatically get rid of your extra hatches is to just straight up murder them. So you can attack them. There's also this attack button. So you just say attack. And the hatches, you'll be able to take out these hatches. They're generally peaceful. So attacking them isn't gonna lead to any sort of resistance. And then we just want to make sure that the meat gets stored away into here. Looks like they're prioritizing putting meat into here, which is okay. That's a sterile atmosphere. We should actually be putting the meat in the fridge so it can be cooked. So he's gonna go grab that. All right, let's take a look at our air pressure. Yeah, we got plenty of algae. Things are feeling good. Okay, so I think that's good enough for this episode. We created another one of these. We built the same sort of basic setup. We fine-tuned it, so we're adjusting these doors. If you want a further explanation on how this is, go check out the beginner builds episode on this. I believe it's called the smallest hatch, the smallest egg farm. And then we adjusted this stuff so we could, effectively have this system. So another thing you can always do if you're like, maybe you want these to sort of share a little bit, which I do. You could just sort of connect this to here, and that will like split them up that way. And then every other will come down to this, but we'll worry about that another time. All right, so we locked this up. We're gonna get rid of this ladder. We're cooking with meat. And you'll see this is just an excellent food source. Look at that morale. +8 morale for eating that versus -1 morale for the pickled meat. So if you have your hatches and you maintain this for them, you're gonna be feeling really good. Now, each of these guys, if they're in a good mood, I believe they will output, if they're in a happy mood, they will get 17% per cycle for their reproduction. So they will output 1 egg for every, let's see, what is that? It's like every 6 cycles they're gonna output an egg. Yeah, every 6 cycles. So if you have 6 in one container, you're gonna get 1 meat for per cycle for each of these guys that will come to here. And 1 meat is gonna give this many calories, and your dupes don't need that much to eat. There's some mental math that someone has done where you can figure out exactly how many you need for however many dupes you have. But I just like to keep it loose, For me, it's about building and just having fun, and I'm sure someone out there has done it. You can look it up on the forum. But that's, I believe that's all for today. So thank you for watching, and have a nice rest of your day. Go check out the new Away Team trailer. It looks really cool. It's the next Oxygen Not Included game. It's not a sequel. It's like you're playing as a single dupe, and you're managing. You're actually playing as the dupe, flying around doing a bunch of different things. That is very akin to what we're doing here, but is a little bit more arcadey and less strategic action. Okay, Have a nice day.